Utterly Insane Productions brings you the Insane Asylum with Mark and Joe. You never know what they'll say next or who they might offend. You have been warned. I get offended every time I look at you.
I get offended every time I gotta watch another.
You're offensive. No, you're very offensive. Just to look at.
Good evening, everybody.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Okay, somebody stuck a quarter in him again, too.
He's doing the Spanish version.
Yeah, there's no
I
such
don't
thing.
know. I don't know enough Spanish to do it.
Good evening. Like we said, since we got
Like we said, when did we say?
last week
What did we say last week?
that we were going to talk about this,
Talk about what?
the real Men in Black, because of what we were talking about last week. We were just going to keep going with other topics related.
Okay, something's going on there.
So anyway, depending on who you ask, some people might say the Men in Black are just a UFO nut conspiracy
Figment of your
theory,
imagination.
Good evening, Lee.
or
Oh, hi, Lee.
they are part of a secret government agency
trying to get
designed
there.
to prevent the public from learning more about UFOs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not this movie thing with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. It's
Or the new one with
whatever.
Chris Hemsworth in it.
For.
Yeah, he was in the new one in the Men in Black Internet.
Right. Well, this has got nothing to do with that.
I know it doesn't.
These Men in Black, if you have the unfortunate chance of running into them because you saw a UFO,
Unfortunate.
there's two ways people say they usually, two things. They either saw a UFO or they've been investigating UFOs and we're getting probably too close to the truth.
Well, that's kind of interesting because I've seen UFOs and I've investigated UFOs and I haven't seen Men in Black.
Well, maybe you haven't done enough to
I've only seen the movies.
Maybe you haven't sprouted your mouth off enough to get their attention yet. Because it's usually what happens.
I'll tell you right now.
I
invite
by
them.
what I was reading and what
They
I've
can
been
come
reading
talk
this
to me
week.
all they want. I'm not going to be
Right.
intimidated.
But now this dates back even before the movies, though. Okay, this info that I've been reading and stuff. Some of it dates the furthest back I found was it dates back to 1947. It was a guy named Harold Dahl, and it was a Murray Island incident. He was on a boat and he saw 6 saucer-shaped objects in the sky. Now,
And
what
one of them
happened?
fell apart.
What happened next? There is various stories about what happens next. Some people say that it, some stories say that it exploded. Some say that it crashed and fell apart, and they, his son picked up a piece and burned his skin. But all the stories have one thing in common too: the dog died from the crash. Because he had a dog on the boat with him, and his dog died on the crash. All right. Now later, he was later, explaining to whoever it was that he was explaining it to. He had a knock on the door or something, and they were the Men in Black, and they were described, kind of pale faces in the black suits like you'd see with the black fedoras and stuff like this. But they didn't have like the movie Neuralizer thing to make you have a different memory. They basically threatened his life, his kids, his family, his well-being,
And his
to keep his
non-existent
mouth
dog
shut.
because his dog
Yeah.
already died.
To keep his mouth shut. And he says, and he got told, well, we're going to be seeing you again, and they asked him something along the lines.
Or did they ask him if he wants to be like his dog?
No, they asked him if something about his wife, if she was pretty or something, if he thought she was pretty or if he wanted her to stay that way. And then he got told, well, they're going to be. They said they'll be back again, but he never saw them again, apparently. But the stories.
Shut his mouth.
Some of the stories have got the same thing in common, that they're all, everybody's that's seen a UFO and they start talking about it or something like that. These guys come about, some of them appear out of nowheres or just pull up or whatever. There's different parts of the stories, but they all have the one thing in common. They threaten the person or the witness, and they keeping their mouth shut, and they use quite a few scare tactics to do so. I don't know what else you want to add to that. I gotta go down my notes now.
Well, I don't know. What about the Men in Black? Or do you think they're people? Do you think they're government people, or do you think they're possibly an alien race that patrols and keeps track of?
Well, that's the other thing that some of this was saying. Some people have both theories. They think that they're an alien race because of the one in particular that was seen, and I was trying to look for that incident here, where the guy they almost made it look like, remember Kindred? That TV series Kindred with the vampires?
Kind of, sort of.
And they had the ones that looked like the old school come on, tell me what Nastafastru or whatever it is. I can't even say the fucking word right now, asshole. I know he can. He's just being a dick. But they're bald and they got the pointy teeth. Like they look like all their teeth have been sharpened. That's what one of the Men in Black supposedly looked like in this. They did
you expect me to say the name now that you butchered it right in front of me.
Yeah, because you can't stop laughing now. So you ain't gonna be able to say it either. See, that's the problem. He's got to think about it a while now. So you can't do it.
Nosferatu.
But anyway, that brought up that incident, and I can't remember where that is. I mean, I think it was in the 60s or something that incident happened. And I was trying to read all of this and trying to do all of this in such a short period of time, and my memory sucks.
Well,
when I'm reading,
I don't know why you're doing something in a short period of time. You knew you wanted to do this from last week, and then you go and...
But I was doing a lot of other stuff that I had to get done too. But anyway, you were supposed to be doing some of this with me, the research.
Well, the thing is, I know some of it too. You're talking about stuff, a lot of stuff that I kind of know about. Because I've studied this shit since I was like...
Tell us what you know.
Since I was like knee-high to a grasshopper, man.
So what do you think? Are they real? Are they aliens?
I think they're an alien race that works with our government to try and keep...
they're both, basically,
well, no.
Somewhat.
Okay, think about it this way, okay? I think, in a way, it's like this. That they're an alien race that does work with our government to keep tabs on other alien races that are breaking the rules. Okay? So when the other races break the rules and humans see their ships or see them or they're abducted or whatever, then you have these guys coming in and trying to set the rules straight.
So you're saying that you're thinking that, all right? So you're saying that the Men in Black are like
Enforcers.
No, more like cleaners. They're cleaning up.
Cleaners,
They're
enforcers.
cleaning up.
So they mess up, and then
the
Men in Black are there to tell everybody that what they saw doesn't exist.
Cleaning up all the evidence.
Yeah.
To try to keep the secret.
Yeah, pretty much.
The conspiracy theory going, or whatever you want to, however you want to look at it.
But see, that's the thing too. You get with the fact that all of a sudden out of the blue they show up, type of thing.
It makes sense that they're alien.
That would make sense. Either that, or they are using alien tech and they'll bring themselves.
Why
to
would
the
they
side.
not want to be seen?
Who?
Aliens.
Did you ever watch the fucking movies?
Okay, you
I'm talking
No.
about if it happened in real life.
hang on.
Those
Hang on.
movies got to be based on something, and I'm sure somebody that created those fuckers
I didn't
probably
watch them
actually had an
before, bro.
experience with the Men in Black, for real.
I've seen the Men in Black movies.
But see, the thing is,
Not the alien movies.
he asked the question and you want me to answer, but
Answer.
everybody keeps doing this. So,
Answer.
okay. Why would they not want to be seen? Well, it's not time to see them yet. Hollywood, the government, and the Men in Black have not done everything that they have set out to do. What they're trying to do, basically, is jade everybody. You know what the word jaded means?
Why?
Huh? No. Jaded means that you've seen something happen so many damn times, whether it's fictional or real, that you no longer react to that happening.
Okay.
So if I go and beat the shit out of somebody 20, 30 times in front of the same person, that person becomes jaded. So when I walk up to beat the shit out of the other person again, that person just stands there and doesn't fucking react
They
to it.
might not even realize it's happening. They might just
Exactly.
ignore it after a certain
Exactly.
point.
That's what jaded is.
It's like,
So what's happening is the government is working with the aliens, who are working with, who together are working with people from Hollywood to create these movies to get the public jaded to the fact that there are other creatures other than humans.
that way when you're driving your car down the road and you see a UFO, you ain't going to go crashing into the tree in front of you. You
All
know?
the rednecks that come out of the trailer park and say, I saw an alien come down and get me.
I saw an alien the other night. It came out of the tree.
Yeah.
That's about as bad as I heard the story about when he saw Santa on the roof, and all he could think of was, there's a freezer full of venison. I'm going to run in and get my shotgun.
Yep.
That's what I do.
Yep.
Okay,
I heard
enough of that one.
them hoof prints on my roof, and I knew
But
there was
Now-
venison up there.
now, how do you know it's not a combination of both?
Combination of both. Of what?
The Men in Black. Combination of both aliens and maybe some kind of government
Maybe.
agencies, because some
Like
of
I
them,
just
some
did
of
you
these
not
stories that
hear
I've read
what
and
I
seen,
said?
though, I'm just saying, some of these stories that I've read and seen, you know, they appear almost totally human, except they got that pale, like, what do you call it, albino look to their face or whatever.
Okay.
And they're real plain looking, you know, no expression, expressionless.
Their expression was not
Yeah,
expression.
right, whatever, yeah. You know, but they pull up in a vehicle, like a black sedan or a black van or something like that out of
And
nowhere,
that's
you
all the
know.
witnesses.
We'll save that for another story. We don't talk religion here. But how do you explain those?
Bands and drugs.
I mean, you know, the alien, you know, most of the stories I read,
I
they
just
disappear
throw it
out of
in
nowhere,
there.
but there are those random few where they pull up in a vehicle.
Well, yeah, but I mean, no, like I said though. Okay. What if they are actual, just regular humans
Or
that
hybrids.
they could be hybrids as well? Regular humans that they're using alien tech.
You know. I mean,
You got to think, okay, if we are here on this planet, and let's revert slightly back to last week's
okay.
little talk. So we are possibly not an indigenous species of this planet, so therefore we are possibly hybrid as well.
Right.
But yet, here you have the Men in Black who exhibit more of an alien type feature of the grays than the human. So maybe they are a hybrid of a gray and a human. We may be a hybrid of something different.
You never know.
The Anunnaki, which are considered the first,
The oldest.
and the oldest and the wisest, they look more like a human. And so do the Norse. The Norse race, they also look more human, but they're also taller. They're 6 and 7 feet tall, some of them 8 feet tall. You have the reptilians. Reptilians look like a lizard, a bipedal lizard.
Boy, that whole thing fucks up Darwin's theory, doesn't it?
Everything fucks up
Boy,
there.
that's gonna piss a lot of people off.
So maybe yes, the Men in Black are a hybrid, and they're working with our government to try and keep secret what's supposed to be secret,
Yeah, and
at least for now. Like I said, you have all these different movies out there, like the Aliens movies. You got Aliens, Alien Resurrection. You have, and then Prometheus. Prometheus is a tie-in with Aliens. That's actually supposed to be the very first one. And you got Alien Covenant. And then you have, all these different movies that are all tied in together as the Alien movies. And then you got the Aliens and the Predators tied in together. Okay?
yeah,
all
sure,
this-
that's another show.
But all this, think about it, all this could be done in a manner to try and jade us to the possibility or the fact
Or
that
desensitize us, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Mhm.
That's what jading is.
Yeah, well, that's, so for some people, so they don't, if they don't understand.
Desensitizing the
Whatever.
human brain to the fact that
I
there
actually-
are other creatures and beings out there.
Yeah.
Okay? Now we have an entire non-terrestrial force that has already seen other beings and has already seen other animal life, because we have ships in orbit that are interstellar traveling ships. We've already been to Alpha Centauri. Why do you think the maps that NASA have of Alpha Centauri are so pristine? They've already mapped out that particular solar system, and it's a binary system. It's got
Yeah.
two suns. They got it's a dual sun, and they rotate around each other, and then the planets rotate around them. And that also, in the possibility, again, we may be part of the Alpha Centauri people H2 because of the fact that, with two suns like that, with binary suns and planets going around them, the gravitational forces on those planets are going to be way different than what's on Earth. But anyway, get back to the solar. It's got me up. The Men in Black, I don't know. It's completely and totally mysterious for some people.
Well, I found some interesting stories out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I
your
said, the
stories.
oldest one started shortly after World War II, which was the 1947 Murray Island. But the most famous account came from a guy named Albert K. Bender in 1952, and he created the International Flying Saucer Bureau soon afterwards. Okay? He said he was visited by 3 men in dark suits who threatened him with imprisonment if he continued his inquiries into UFOs. Bender's account was featured in They Knew Too Much About Flying Saucers, a book by the IFSB associate Gray Parker, who also mentioned it frequently in his magazine, The Saucerian. Bender believed that the men who threatened him were part of the U.S. government, but explanations for the Men in Black vary, and a distinction is made in UFO literature between Men in Black and Men in Black with capital letters. The former are to believe human agents who cover up government secrets and who are said to appear relatively normal than later. Often abbreviated as MIB, all capitals, was described by the late UFOologist J.A. Keel, author of a book-turned-film, The Mothman Prophecies, as demonic supernaturalists who behave in a distinctively non-human ways. Keel's accounts of Men in Black date back to the mid-60s. He describes them as having dark skin and or exotic facial features. So that was one of the most famous stories. Was about Bender, and then it goes on. They created a lot of talk in the Mothman prophecies there.
Well, there's another one there too, because the Mothman, there have been reports of Men in Black showing up after that.
Yeah, we haven't got to that far to go to one of those locations where that thing's been sighted.
And supposedly the Mothman, whenever he shows up, tragedy follows. Pretty ugly. So, and then
What?
And if you look out there,
dead air.
I'm gonna add when I
Dead
upload
air.
this to YouTube and I edit it, I'm gonna add a couple of the photos that I found around the internet.
Good.
Black and white photos that people.
See if you can't also
People-
integrate that one video I was talking about.
People.
Playing the original.
Yeah, that might cause some issues.
It's like this one here. See?
Yeah.
These guys used it in their little tale. Anyway, these two supposedly MIB guys walk in. They're tall. You can tell that their features are different, and also the camera is actually focused around on the objects around them, where themselves are slightly blurry, just a tad bit off.
Yeah, there's.
It's kind of interesting.
Oh, the
Yeah.
one where they're coming through the doors
Yes.
there? Yeah, I
Yes.
saw that. Yeah, I watched it again this morning.
Yeah, and if you
because I was
notice,
trying to
did you
refresh my
notice
memory.
that? How themselves look just a little, just
Slightly
blurred.
Yeah, so did
And everything else around them is pretty well clear.
so did some of the pictures I found. There was one picture that was, I don't know if it's on this
Didn't wanna be
page or
seen.
not.
They don't want to be seen.
It looked like
now
the
that's
picture was pretty
another
old.
thing too. Bringing something like that up,
Right there.
me bringing that up and everything. That could be also something else. That could be the reason they look so pale and facially featured differently and stuff. Maybe possibly that is a alien tech,
Yeah.
hulking type, I think.
Right. Something to make them try to
To
blend
make
in.
them look different, or
Mhm.
or if they are an alien species that don't look like a human, maybe that is to make them
blend in.
more human, so they can try and blend in. So yeah,
See, there's a picture where there's like one that with him he's leaning up against the wall, but he was actually waiting for somebody to come out and then stopped him apparently, but somebody
Yeah.
else caught that picture.
it looks like a video.
Yeah, it was part of a video. The picture, it's just a picture though.
Oh, okay. So
They circled, the picture does the little animation
Yeah.
of the red circle around the figure. Yeah.
well, another thing too, though. I mean, I haven't heard anything about any Men in Black showing up for. Okay, you've heard of the encounter over in England, right? The one where it's the two American air bases that are like not very far from each other. It's one of the force that these guys are actual Air Force personnel because they were seeing these lights in the sky and they seen the lights in the forest itself, and they went to investigate. They were sent by their CEO to investigate. One of them actually, they both claimed that there was a craft there. One of them actually claims he touched the craft. And from that point on, he kept seeing binary code. And he was, yes, and he was writing it down too. But, and somewhere I found something about the binary code he was writing down has been deciphered. And there is a message there, but I can't remember what it was about. Now those guys never got visited by a Minute Black or anything like that. And I wonder, and I kind of figured that was because they were military. These guys were military.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's, you know,
They had to
like
keep
I
it
said,
classified.
but there again, this happened a while back.
Yeah, I haven't.
Years back in the
When I
80s
was
and
doing my research,
70s.
I didn't find a whole lot of real recent one. I did even though CNN.
Most everything that we have seen so far with the researches that we've done and checking stuff out has been back. What was the most recent one? Back in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been. It could have even been this one right here. This is might have been the most recent story. This one doesn't give the exact date. I can't remember. I found the date on another page, but I do remember reading this story someplace else and watching that video that's attached to it. But actor, everybody knows this guy, or should know this guy. Actor Dan Aykroyd has come forward with his story about how he was, damn it, no, it moved up. I hate some of these laptops. How he was taping a show about the paranormal. He stepped out to take a phone call from Britney Spears, who was asking him to appear on Saturday Night Live with her. When he noticed a black Ford parked across the street, a tall man stepped out of the Ford and stared him down. Aykroyd turned away for a moment and then turned back to find that the man and the car had completely vanished. After he finished his phone call, he returned to the studio to learn that his show had been canceled, and he was ordered to stop filming immediately. Some doubt his claim, but Aykroyd said he knew what he saw and maintains that there was some kind of connection between these men in black and the end of his paranormal show.
It's government related. No one's done it.
Well, you know, that's, for me, that's kind of believable because here, I'm going to give you an example of somebody else who got shut down, and I'm not sure exactly how he got shut down, but this guy, Jesse Ventura, ex-Navy SEAL, ex-Minnesota governor, who gives a rat's ass about the wrestler part, though, right?
Always brings up Ventura because he was one of the better ones.
He had a
TV
series. He had a TV series called it was called The Conspiracy Theory.
He does have a new one now.
Or something like this.
I seen something.
You know, and it had him and his son in there, and him and his son were doing this thing, and he started getting threats from the government,
Yeah.
supposedly. Okay, he fled the country.
Was that after he became governor?
No, yeah, he was already retired. He did this
Oh.
conspiracy. This was when he was doing his conspiracy theory shows. Now the thing is, he had to flee the country. He went to Mexico just to stay in hiding. And he's come out and admit this on interviews and stuff like this, that he's gotten death threats and all kinds of threats against him, his family, and all kinds of shit because of his show that he was doing about, you know, everything from, you know,
Is that what I'm talking about?
every government conspiracy theory you could think of. And who's not to say, because, you know, the government likes to keep a lot of fucking secrets from the public. who's to say that the Men in Black don't help keep those secrets too?
Yeah.
You know, the ones you're not supposed to know.
The World According to Jesse.
What's the show? So
Yeah.
he's still in hiding? Anymore.
I don't know. I mean, his show was canceled, and you know, it was like got great ratings and stuff, and it just shocked the world. Why, you know, shocked the
All
his
of a sudden
fan
he
base.
just quit.
Why his show just up and got canceled all of a sudden when it was getting good ratings and people were loving it all the
It had to have
time.
something to
And
do with
even the reruns, you can't even find reruns anywhere. You can't find that show anywhere except maybe
Yeah,
YouTube if you're lucky.
They got rid of all that.
You know. But he walked right into the FBI's office, headquarters in one of those places, and said, you know, you need to give a shit. He wanted answers.
No.
You know. He walked right up to the gates of Area 51. You know.
It's on a Russia television station.
The World According to
The world.
Seriously.
Here it says, but these days Ventura, who served, this was back in August of 2018. Ventura, who served as Minnesota's governor from 1993 to 2003, is hosting a reality show called The World According to Jesse on the Russia state-sponsored network Russia Today America.
Wow.
Russia, imagine that.
Yeah, RTA. Russia, RT America.
The program is described as a variety news show that tackles today's biggest political stories as well as deeper issues such as government hypocrisy and corporate deception through a mix of thought-provoking interviews and on-the-ground reporting.
I wonder what he thinks of the orange clown.
Right here.
Mm.
There's one right here. He tells you that was 4 years ago.
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse Ventura on Donald Trump.
I don't want to know. It just doesn't sound right. All right. But anyway,
I'm sure he's
what
not
else can we
safe
talk
by
about?
then.
We're talking about Men in Black here.
Okay.
We're good.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I just that was part of it because you brought him up.
I'm sorry.
Every time you do that, you
example of
gotta
somebody
know.
that
You
went off
gotta
into
know.
hiding because
You
of
gotta know when you pull that shit. I have to check it out.
Fuck off.
Whatever. Hi, Bill. Bill Mandor.
Hey, Billy.
I just noticed he had joined. I don't know if he's still one. But I show one person over here.
So do I.
So that's probably me because I'm logged into it. But yeah. I don't know, man. Men in Black are kind of still a mystery. We need to do more research onto those, into that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how many of those people, 133 sightings in Illinois so far, have maybe seen them.
No, the 133 sightings of UFOs in Illinois. See, the thing is,
That's just this year alone.
All right. I have seen, myself personally, I have seen,
And 2019 is not even quite over yet. We got 3
4.
weeks.
I have seen 4 actual UFOs.
I haven't seen one.
That you know of. Use your keys up. We'll get the alternator
Is that how it sounds like?
in my phone.
Anyway,
Let Jerry out of here.
but I've seen like 4 different times I've seen UFOs. When I was a kid, when I worked for waste management, that one was actually.
Are you
really
sure
cool.
you just weren't sniffing the fucking fumes off the garbage
That
truck?
that one was really close. Well,
You didn't want to answer that
Lisa
one.
Lisa and I both seen one after Katie's wedding.
Yeah.
Where were you? On top of the hill up there, off the Beltline or the interstate there?
No, we were walking into the apartment.
The dump hill. When you worked for waste management.
No.
Went
I
up the
was
dump hill up there.
actually I was right out here, not very far
That's a
outside of
nasty
town.
place, isn't it?
I was pretty close.
He got
I was
off on the fumes of the truck.
I was actually pretty close to
He
Humboldt.
was pretty fucked up that day.
I was actually pretty
Okay.
close to Humboldt. Yeah, I was fucked up that day. I had waking up. I had to wake up at fucking 3 o'clock in the morning, be at work by 4, and be at my first stop by 5. So I was fucked up because I, had a full night's sleep,
Lack of
got
sleep.
up, had a full night's
That's
sleep,
what it
got
was.
up, and went
He
to
was
work.
hallucinating due to lack of
You know.
sleep. I knew it. I knew there was something there.
Maybe someday, he'll see something because
I ain't gonna see
he's
shit.
sitting here being an asshole about the whole fucking mess and being
an
a
asshole.
dick about other people seeing this shit. But
No,
yet
I
he'll
know
sit
it-
here. Yeah, he'll sit here and he'll fucking research all this shit and talk about it, and not even know anything about it
I'm only
because
being
he
an
doesn't
asshole,
want to
yeah.
fucking look. He doesn't want to fucking watch the skies.
I watched the sky so much when I was a kid that and for a long time, and I never saw shit. I never even saw a shooting star. Believe it or not.
You never saw shit.
Fuck off. So you know who's
So
being smart ass.
so a bird never flew over and shit in your eye.
The coolest thing I saw when I
Who's
was
being an ass? Yeah,
No,
I'm being an
the
ass.
coolest thing I ever saw when I was looking in the sky was nature. When a fucking eagle caught a bird midair, lost it, and then caught it again and landed down on the highway and started eating the fucking thing.
Sure, it was an eagle on a hawk.
It was an eagle because we were like right. I mean, it was like right in front of us. Like
You know, the
literally,
eagles
like,
have a huge wingspan.
Yeah, I know. But like I'm saying, you couldn't doubt that this was an eagle because it was right there in front of us. It was like literally like feet away.
Yeah.
Over down there and somewhere, Tanya was with us that day. It was the coolest fucking thing. See eagles all the time down there if you look.
We're gonna wind up seeing something one of these nights. One of these
That'll be
summer
cool
nights.
as hell.
One of these summer nights when we're out doing our investigation is
Had to wait a while for a summer night.
Well,
As
no,
we're out-
last
as we're out
year,
doing our
earlier this
investigation,
year we started
as they're
around
head
March. We started when it
You're
started
gonna
getting
see
about
something. I
50-ish.
guarantee you will see something.
It started getting about 50-ish in March earlier this year, and that's
Oh, yeah,
when
and
we
then
started
that
moving
one-
around.
That one I seen when I was on my way to work. That one morning I'm on Highway 12, cruising through there, and it was just above the tree line,
When
and it was
you were a
sitting
kid,
there.
you and your mom. And when you seen
No, this was. Did you not hear what I just said?
I heard
On
it here.
my way to work on Highway 12.
I heard what you said. I'm saying.
And I was explaining
did
that
you
one,
mention
and you're
that one?
saying, I'm explaining that one, and you're saying you're the one when you were a kid. No, this one was like 2:30 in the fucking morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that, and it was like right above the tree line, and it was very strange because it stayed in the one spot for the longest fucking time, and then it moved. From there, it moved like it was going towards Jefferson.
That's fucked up.
It was weird.
Because
It's
planes
really
can't
weird.
stay in one spot for.
No, they can't.
They have to fly
Helicopter
in a
can't.
circle. I mean, and I know that because
But
they can't.
this thing was right there though. I mean, it was big. It was a big, whatever craft it was. And then when I was a kid, when I was like, I was about 7 or 8. I can't remember exactly the age. But my dad had, at the time, with the house we lived in, it was right a little bit after we lived in the house one building. But the house we lived in, my dad had this 50-foot CD antenna on top of the house. Yeah, this thing was 50 foot above the house. House had to be at least 12 feet tall, to peak of the roof. And Mom seen this thing coming in across the field, she seen this light that was moving really, really slow. And she kept watching it and watching it and watching it. And she had me come to the back door with her and watched it. And I watched this fucking thing. It was square. It had lights on all four corners, and it had this one big light right in the center. And it right over top the house, right over top the antenna. Totally missed the fucking antenna. And then we went to the front door and watched it as it just went right off into the distance. And it moved really slow, almost like a balloon. But it wasn't a balloon. That's the weird thing. There was no flame coming off, from like a basket for a balloon or anything like that.
Well, I
What
think
did
it's
your mom
almost
say
time
about
to
it?
call it quits here.
Why? Because I got mad?
No,
You got on your ass?
Somebody's over there falling asleep. We got a movie to watch.
Oh, yeah, you want to watch that movie.
And
Reservoir Dogs.
we got a little bit of a long day tomorrow. So
Yeah, we got a long day tomorrow.
next week we'll follow up with
That's going to be a fun day
something more on aliens and UFOs.
tomorrow.
Just don't know what it will be about exactly.
Do a little more research on Men in Black.
Make a broader subject maybe next week. We'll stay on topic. All right, till next week.
Well, and if people want to tune in next week and they had experiences of their own, share. Seriously. That's what I'd like to do, start having people share.
Now, I don't got all the exact info, but I'm guessing tomorrow you can catch us on Off the Rails with Tom and Mark
See, you're supposed to have that
around
info
noon,
down. You were supposed to
Central
write it.
Standard Time. Well, I'm guessing that's the time. I don't know. So I don't know what time, but we'll see what happens.
Yep, we're gonna be on Off the Rails tomorrow afternoon with those guys. But Tom said that Mark's not gonna be there.
Are you not going to be there?
No, I'll be there. This Mark will be there. The other Mark's not gonna be there.
All right, you want to hit it?
I don't
Thanks for
know.
watching the Insane Asylum with Mark
Gotta
and Joe.
listen to him.
Be sure to visit our website at utterlyinsaneproductions.com for all your links. Please like and share us on
Sorry for
Facebook
the creep.
and subscribe to us on YouTube. Until next time, keep your eyes in the sky.
You stole